Intro first, then we get going. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Convos with Your Mom's Favorites. I am he, I am him, I am indeed your mom's favorites, and today we are here with another episode for the people. I have a very special guest with me. Let me tell y'all from the get-go, he is one of the pod's biggest, we'll say critiques. He's one of the biggest, one of the pod's biggest critiques. He's always making sure that we're getting better and better and better. And I appreciate each and every one of you. He's an avid listener. So it was only right that when we come back, we have one of our special fans on. My brother Evans is here. Evans, thank you for joining us. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. No complaints here. No complaints. So we're going to get right into it.
All right.
We're going to skip right into the good because I watched Invincible. You watched Invincible. I've been a fan since episode 1. That's all it took for me, especially the last 5 minutes of episode 1. I was hooked. So, season 3 just ended, and this is one of the greatest animated shows I've seen in recent years. And I'll put that out there. That's how I feel about it. How do you feel about what you just watched on season 3?
Well, it's not even just you. I feel the same way. On top of that, the general masses look like they seem to agree. I think it got like a 9. It got like I think it was like almost 100 on Rotten Tomatoes or something. It was like 99 or something.
Yeah, it was
something to that effect. But it was, man. It's been such an emotional season.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so many different like concepts that's been addressed throughout the entirety of it. It's really just beautiful, like mastery piece of work.
I would have to agree with you. Specifically episode 10, right? The season's finale. That was one of the most, I don't want to say brutal, but man, that episode was good to watch because you watch this show and you see Invincible and you see him. He's trying so hard not to be like his pops. Like the whole show is just him, especially once you find out that his pops was the bad guy. He was trying real hard not to be like his pops, and you just find out that no, it's in there. The ability to be like your pops is in there, and with this big bad, it was necessary.
Well, he had Black Air Force energy, 100%.
Yeah, 100%, and like to use your head because both your arms is broken. That is the quintessential definition of by any means necessary. And
so, yeah. No, go ahead.
I was in awe of this whole season, but how this episode, like the culmination of these last 10 episodes, I think is something that should be studied, and I can't wait for what's next, especially given how this thing ended.
Now, what I saw, a lot of it was, I love the way they started the season off.
Right.
Invincible was very much conflicted and was like, hey, listen, some things happened at the end with Angstrom Levy, almost killed Angstrom Levy, and he was very much in this morality kind of like struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, well, we shouldn't kill, we shouldn't do things. And as the season progressed, you see he's struggling more with Oliver has this whole thing. It's like, well, why don't we do it this way? Why don't we save it? And I love the way that the finale kind of like had it come down to of like he stopped being this very much like, oh, let's be safe, let's be calm. He's like, he started taunting the man as he's eviscerating him with his forehead. I love that. I'm all for the smoke, and I really do like it when people's on bumper. So I definitely think that it was a strong episode. But one of the underrated pieces of it was the actual conversations that they were having.
Right.
This man Conquest was pulling out Thanos quotes.
Yes, he was. That man, and I've always been a fan of the complex villain. You know what I mean? Not the one who's just like, you know what? Don't get me wrong. There is always a place and a time for somebody who's evil just for the sake of evil. But you could tell this man Conquest, he done been through some things. He done seen some things. And so for him, this wasn't just your usual, you know what? Let's conquer this planet. he kind of wanted. He was like, I'm looking for a fight. Like I'm looking for somebody worthy of these hands. Like he was like, don't worry, I'm gonna give you these hands, but I just need somebody who's worthy of it. And just like I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? He not wrong. Well, he was wrong, right? But I was like, I might switch sides. I might have switched sides, to team for the Viltrumite Empire based off, Conquest's speeches.
Well, not even just the speeches, man. You got to think about a couple of things that happened that made me question kind of like, well, maybe it might be better under Viltrum. If you look at the Invincible War, the episodes before when all the Invincibles showed up, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, each variant was lovely.
Yeah, I,
Uh,
I I need more of those.
that we definitely need more Invincible variants because you
Yeah,
see in all these other worlds, because he got his powers early,
yeah,
his father did a lot of the raising and his father did a lot of the rearing of the child. The reason why Mark is such a good person, is one of the few good ones, is because his powers came in late, so he spent so much time with his mother.
right.
But the good thing about that is if you look at the Invincible Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole time that was happening, I was thinking, I was like, yo, if they were under Viltrumites like control and in the Empire, it doesn't take nothing but a call. We got 4 or 5 Viltrumites and they handling Marky Marks at all
Yeah,
of them. Conquest could have easily taken at least 3 or 4 of them. So if you look at it, it's an interesting concept to think about. Like, man, if they had joined the Viltrumite army or empire or whatever, when Anissa or just when Omni Man had thought about it, how much faster could they have avoided this level of a threat and that much destruction?
that could have been honestly. It wouldn't have been as you've seen in the episodes where like you see other variant futures where you could just see just how far like we've seen a variant with Mark actually sides with Omni-Man and they do take over Earth and it's like it's a fight to try to take Earth back. So it don't all you really needed was two. Cause the Empire hadn't come yet. All it was Mark and Omni-Man. That's all it took to take over Earth was two Viltrumites. So if you get those two and then they make a phone call and they send a couple more people, the problem's solved. Because
Yeah.
what this season showed us, including what's my man name? Cecil. What
Yep.
it showed even him is that Earth is not prepared for a full on Viltrumite invasion.
Not even close. This
Not
man
even
said,
close.
yo, he was like, I'm watching the world. He's like, Earth's strongest superhero is getting the crap kicked out of him by another man. And it's like, dang, what do you really do? Like, he
Yeah.
had called for Cecil to help when, what happened to Adam and Eve happened, or Adam Eve happened. And Cecil didn't show up for like 10 minutes till the fight was done. He was like, we good? It's
Yeah.
safe?
Cause I mean Cecil ain't stupid. Cecil ain't stupid. He know, that teleportation it could only get him but so far, and it could only work but so fast. He got lucky when he was playing with Omni Man, and he was just like, he was bouncing back and forth, and Omni Man couldn't catch him. But Conquest looked like he was just a little bit faster. So he knew like who to mess with, and who not to mess with. He was like, listen, y'all handle that, and call me once y'all finish. Then I'll come and I'll help out on the end, on the back end. But
100%.
you
He rallied the troops and was like, "Oh yeah, 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 we here now. I brought every superhero.
yeah, I bought everybody. No worries.
We, he did. Oh, that's crazy.
Cool, cool, cool. He was like, we was on the way. It just took a while for everybody to get here. Uber surge prices. It was difficult to teleport everybody.
Yeah. That tax, it takes a lot of money to tax. Somebody had like went online and like calculated it.
Yeah,
Apparently, it's somewhere close to like 1.6 like billion every time he teleport or something.
that makes
Because he
sense.
said he had some quote about like, oh, do you know like how much does it cost you to teleport? And he said, oh, do you know the economic something something of some random country? I'm gonna have to look it up and send it to you when I see it.
Oh, see, I missed that. But see now, so imagine if that's just teleporting him. So if he got to teleport other people, can you imagine that debt ceiling?
Might as well get your Nightcrawler on, big
Right.
dog. Go ahead,
Just go
taxpayers
ahead.
play it.
Because that's ridiculous. But yeah, man, Invincible is such an incredible show. I can't wait for season 4. Apparently, we won't have to wait long for season 4, and they not gonna. I don't think they're splitting it like they did with season 3,
Mm.
which
Okay.
I'm not really mad at because I'm just like, bro, just I kind of my memory's not that great just off the strength, right? And with all the other shows that I'm currently watching, I need to like get through something. Like once I start something, I need to be able to get through it so I can complete it. So then I can put my focus completely on what else I'm watching. So having to remember all that went on, because like yeah, they give you a recap, but they don't always give you everything you need to know specifically before you start the episode. They expect you to remember a lot. So I'm like, that's it's quite difficult with all of this stuff.
I'll put you on to a trend, brother. This is what I do.
All right.
Whenever I'm watching or like recapping something, like for example, the new Daredevil series, which I started watching,
Yeah.
amazing by the way.
Absolutely fine.
Whenever I haven't seen something in a long time, I go to YouTube. Somebody somewhere will have like a 20-minute, 30-minute full recap of everything I need to know. Just immediate, like, wrinkles in the brain coming back
Yeah.
type stuff.
Oh, see, that's I'm gonna have to get on that because it's
It's on it. It's fire.
yeah, it's difficult for me sometimes to I'll be like, when did that happen? Who was this person? Like why? Like I'm sure they are important. I'm not taking that from nobody, but I don't remember them. So thank you for that. I'm going but yeah, Invincible is out now, Amazon Prime. If you haven't watched it, I think you're wasting time, and you should hop on that immediately and get to watching because it's such a great series. And speaking of great series, we just gonna keep this ball rolling. X-Men '97.
Okay.
I think
I'm bringing up the big guns.
yeah, the big guns, big guns. X-Men '97. I think when season 1 of that show aired, I think we would talk weekly. It was like a weekly recap.
100%.
And now thinking about it in hindsight, we should have just like recorded those weekly recaps. Just every
Long phone calls.
yeah, some long phone calls just about everything that's going on. And season 1 was great, but with the exit of Bill DeMaio from Marvel, and with what I've heard that they've like, because I think he said he had like season 2 was already done, and even like most of season 3. But now that he's gone, I've heard that Marvel has gone back and started rewriting season 2.
Now, that's dangerous
That's very
because
dangerous.
when you take somebody else's vision and you kind of move it around and change it, all of a sudden we get into Star Wars episode 7 and you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Extra episodes where it's like, we had this direction, episode 8, we went with that direction, and then all of a sudden no one knows what's going on. I think that DeMaio's vision was beautiful, and I do especially like that the writers and that himself were coming from the perspective of people who struggle in like our everyday life. They connected you like watching the mutants go through stuff. Oh, that felt like certain experiences. Oh, that felt like someone who was black, or oh, someone who was getting ready to come out. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like it was so beautiful how you could liken being a mutant to like our everyday things that we all deal with, and it was amazing.
absolutely, absolutely. That's always been one of my um big things with the mutants, just how you could relate so much of all of the struggles that they were going to like our everyday reality. And I'm like, fam, Magneto wasn't wrong. Was his motives a bit extreme at times? Yes. Yes. But his overall vision, the
Okay.
overall vision was just, letting mutants live freely. And even like, bro was just like, you know what? Fine. You don't want us to live with y'all? Give us an island off to ourselves where we could just be free as mutants. Just mutants living on this island of Genosha. We couldn't even have that.
Can't even have that,
Can't
y'all.
even have like we
You
can't even
can't have
have
that.
their own island. Like, what's going on
Yo,
here?
bro, the Genosha massacre to me in animated television is arguably it's up there with the last episode of Invincible. It's one of the most pivotal moments of the show. Like, you know how everybody has like a favorite like cartoon animation where
Yeah,
they say, "Hey, yo, if you watch to this episode here and you don't like it, absolutely you could turn it off," type stuff. Like, this is the episode that's defining. If this isn't for you, the entire show isn't for you.
yeah,
It's just not there.
yeah. Like if
I it affected. I think I had called you that
you
day,
did,
or I saw it and I was like, "Yo, I'm not okay.
we were.
I'm not good."
Neither one of us were okay after watching that episode, man, because it was just that's like that episode and cartoon they did in 30 minutes what most shows couldn't get done in an hour. Like real life TV shows with like actual actors, fam, they conveyed better emotions on cartoons than I've seen in most recent TV shows with like real people.
Mm.
That was something just like,
It's it's just like a Man, I'm telling you, it's something that it's so much emotion invoking stuff. Like everything from every little bit of like, you start off with the Gambit and Rogue romance and everything that's going on with the love triangle they got with Magneto. And then they introduce, all these kids and how like, yo, like what that felt like was like, okay, this is what the perfect world is supposed to be like. Look what they've given us.
yeah,
Look what we have.
mm-hmm,
And to see it taken away, and then on top of that, to kill an iconic character masterful.
masterful. And then you start to think about like all of the extra stuff like on the back end, right? Like Gambit died, right? Never knowing that Rogue chose him over Magneto.
Bro, certain things you just I still ain't wrong. I still ain't all right, man. I just it's weird because that's the one moment, like, how like you knew where you were when you seen that moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's certain TV shows where it's like, all right, like I know what I was doing. Like I know where I was during the Red Wedding
Yeah.
in Game of Thrones. I know how I felt in that moment. Genosha, I sat there and I watched it, and it was funny because my brother had caught me. Was like, "Yo, you watched the episode?" And I was like, "No, no, 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 no." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, just watch it." And he's like, I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "No, just
Nah,
just watch it."
just watch it.
Sat down with myself, bro. I watched it, and I think I didn't move for like 15 minutes. And I was like, "Let me call Kenny."
Yeah, man. That was something different. I was not expecting that or ready for that at all. I was sitting, I was like, what? 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 Like, and I think that was the only episode where I even waited until like I watched all of the end credits because I'm like, there's got to be an end sequence, like an end credit scene where like he not gone.
You got to find out who's responsible for
Yeah,
this.
I'm like, there's got to be something happening at the end. It's just like, nah, that's it. That's all you getting. Episode finished. He gone.
Which brings me to say that Magneto was right. And honestly, sometimes I know you say he can be kind of like, overdone. If it was real life, I think we've had this conversation multiple times, but if it was real life and Professor X was out here recruiting people and Magneto was recruiting people, I'm shit with
I'm
Magneto.
I'm picking up Magneto's phone call.
100%.
Yeah,
Because they out here, they even got their own, think about it. Mutants got their own racial slur, bro. They call them muties. Crazy work.
crazy, crazy out here. So yeah, definitely, I'm picking Mag. Like, I'm definitely picking Magneto's side because I'm like, fam, enough is enough, right? Like, you tried talking, like, and you've tried having conversation. Like, we tried being nice, we tried being peaceful. Enough is enough. At the end of the day, if like talking hasn't worked, sometimes you gotta pick up a sword and you gotta fight somebody.
He said, God says, turn the other cheek, but he gave you two
He
cheeks, so
gave
you
you
know when
two,
enough is enough.
right?
You feel me?
Like, I only got the two. You smack both sides. Now I gotta hit you back.
Now it's hands.
Yeah,
It's hands now.
it's hands
And
now.
on top of that, too, like remember I think it was the second or third episode. And this is when I knew this show was gonna be on bumper. Cause I thought, oh wow, this is gonna be like the big moment
Yeah.
when they took away Storm's powers. And then Magneto, the way he spazzed was perfectly encapsulating of how someone who's trying to be good, who already don't like y'all,
Mm-hmm.
is like, all right. He said, "Listen, man, I'm giving y'all another chance. Don't make me revert to who I normally would be in this case, bro. Don't make me get back to that Black Air Force energy, rather."
And they made him do it. And I'm just like, fam, that's he tried. At the end of the day, he tried. Yeah, I messed with the man. but he tried, and now I'm worried because I don't know. Marvel hasn't really done well with rewrites.
I mean, what storylines could they do?
I don't know, bro. The story was already laid, which is why I'm still trying to figure out what are we rewriting when he's already laid season 2 and most of
Mm,
season 3 out for you. He's giving you the blueprint. Just animate it, have the characters come back and voice act it, and drop it. Like if it's already done, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? Just so he ain't got to get credit? I understand it was a bad breakup.
what even happened?
From it depend. One side I saw was that he was sending risque photos to other employees.
Oh, okay.
That's
That's out of pocket.
that's
You can't do that.
Marvel's side of it is that he was,
That's HR problems.
yeah, that's he was sending risque photos. He said that that's not what happened, and that Marvel was just hating.
Mm,
But whatever happened, he has been very bitter about it
mm.
because I've never seen somebody actively tweet after every show, every other
100.
show that Marvel has put out about just how bad it is.
Mm. So it's crazy because I heard he had a link in bio. Is what I had heard. I don't know nothing about that. I didn't do no research, but
That is
I
that
heard it
is
was some
that is
weird
that
stuff.
is that is also what I heard. Link in bio. Um, but I don't know if that. But I think the link. I think it was one of those. That's what he used to tell his side of the story. It was like, if you
Oh,
want to know what really happened, follow me over here.
oh,
Yeah,
that's an
it's
odd platform to
it's
do
a
that.
very
It's
odd
YouTube, brother.
platform. It's a very odd platform to to get that to just voice your side. It's a there are other platforms that you could use. Is
Mm,
like you said, YouTube. If you want to get people, like if you wanted people to pay to see your
mm.
side of it, there's Vimeo, there's Patreon. There are other
Lots of
apps
stuff
you could
where you could
use.
still make money off of
Yeah, where you can
your
still make
content.
money off of what you were doing.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't know specifically what they're gonna do with the writing. I think if the right people are involved, because I think is Feige involved?
yeah,
So if Feige is involved, and then I don't think they're ever really gonna tie it to the MCU. I don't know if they will, but I think if the right people are involved, things can happen. I've learned never to underestimate certain companies from doing the right thing, like, because until you see, I like to judge a product. I don't like to judge speculation, because
yeah,
I remember when they had gotten Heath Ledger and they were like, oh well, Heath Ledger is going to be the Joker. I was like, really, the dude from Brokeback? Like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, I liked him in Knight's Tale, but how is he going to play Joker? And to this day, he's arguably one of my favorite Jokers
yeah,
of all time besides Mark Hamill.
yeah. That was damn. That was good. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. But yeah, so you're right. I think I am gonna, like, I'm not saying this to say that like I'm not gonna watch. I'm still gonna watch because I am very much looking forward to what was coming next. Like, because you were leading me to Apocalypse, so he's one of my favorite villains, just period. So I would definitely like to see where this goes with that. So hopefully, the right people are involved, the right people take the helm, and that this continues to be just as good. Because I mean, what other animated show does Marvel have that holds up to both X-Men series? Like Spider-Man, the
That is
animated
actually
series was good.
for his time. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
absolutely really good. I don't think it's a timeless classic. I still enjoyed it a lot,
yeah,
but I like it when they get freaky and they try to freelance certain stuff. Like you remember Spider-Man Unlimited?
yeah.
Spider-Man Unlimited was short-lived, but it was an interesting take on stuff. Like stuff like that ends up bringing other things about, like Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond's a
That was
classic,
fire, bro. That
but
was
it's
fire.
just get conceptual with it, change something, do something different. I'm okay with it.
You
Try
know,
something new.
I'm definitely all here for it, but it's just like these shows, for whatever reason, they don't appeal to they don't appeal to the masses, so they don't get the same love that these other shows. Because I was with you, Spider-Man Unlimited was fire, and for it to get short-lived, then I think that's something that shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely something that they need to fix and go back and just tell the other stories. Like I've said it multiple times before. Batman is cool, but enough. Superman is cool, enough. Like, you have a plethora of other characters with interesting backstories that you could tell, and I think that it would still get the same love. I think if you get the right people to tell the story, you could open the world up to a whole new generation of people.
Yeah, I agree. That's why the Infinity Saga was one of the greatest sagas of all time, because Avengers started to give you a little bit of stuff. Like, we knew who Black Panther was, but it hasn't been pushed into its own show.
Yeah,
And we knew about all these other characters. Ant-Man, we know somewhat of him. We seen him, but getting his own show and really delving into his character was beautiful.
yeah, absolutely. And I thought those movies were great. I think they're underrated. The Ant Man movies. People don't really care for them, especially Quantumania.
My guy.
Other than the fact that I don't think in any universe Ant Man beats Kang the Conqueror. Other than that,
I agree.
I enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
I think that Jonathan Majors acting in that movie carried that entire movie, because it's so, him as Kang in any medium
Mm-hmm.
is so ominous, bro. It has that gravitas feel to it where it's like, you're an Avenger. Have I killed you before? You the one with the hammer?
Yeah.
Like,
The brother man just
no.
had aura in every variant. Like, every variant just walked in with, like, and it wasn't even like you knew it was Jonathan Majors, right? As a different person. Like, he was playing everybody, but you didn't, like, he brought different energy with each variant of Kang, and I think that that's something that they need to explore more. I'm here for this maybe a hot take. I'm definitely here for them bringing him back.
Spin the
As
block, spin the
Yeah,
block.
just spin the block. Spin the block.
Block. It's okay. He settled
Yeah,
that thing. Spin,
problem
spin the
problem
block.
solved. Problem solved. And I think they should give him another shot. I think he's worth it. He ain't gonna
If
disappoint
public
you.
perception, he won't. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. If
Nah.
public perception of that new movie that comes out that he has,
Yeah.
if the public accepts it, well, I could see Marvel being like, all right, we got Downey Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Let's sprinkle a little bit of Kang back in there, see how the people see it. I'm all right with it.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine. Just pick up if that, like you said, if magazine. I think it's Magazine Dreams is the movie he got coming. If that does good, just pick up the
Man.
phone. Pick up the phone. Because he already said in multiple interviews that he gonna pick up the phone if y'all call him. He said
This man's campaigning for a check.
he is. He is. Like, cause I think he was on like the Breakfast Club and like on a couple other podcasts, and they all asked him, would you come back as Kang the Conqueror? And he was just like, absolutely. I love Marvel. I would definitely come back and do this. So let's just make that happen, because I was excited to see where they could take that. I'm excited for Downey is Doom.
That was another conversation I know we had off screen, but that whole dynamic of Downey is Doom has so much speculation and so many different character arcs and where they can go with it. I think I'd love to see him and Kang in some sort of retrospect, even if it's like, all right, we're gonna bring back Kang just so Doom can kind of take over
Yeah.
and they run with the whole Secret Wars storyline. I'm okay with that too, but we need Kang. We need the
We
Kangs. We was
need, yeah,
Kangs, Kenny.
we was. And we need some more Kangs. You know what I'm saying? Like we need that. And I heard a rumor about Downey is Doom that how they're playing him being Tony is that he's taking over Tony's body. Like, Tony died. And Doom that was a rumor that I saw, that Tony's dead, and Doom is he takes his body over and uses his body so that to put the rest of the team's guard down, because he's a beloved character.
Could be nice. I think that would be a cool way to introduce him. What do you think would be the best way to introduce him?
Um, I say go with the whole. You've like I said, you have a multiverse. There's no
Okay.
need like he could just be a traveler. A traveler. He was um Tony Stark, right? When you have him going up right as Iron Man, and when he's going back to the first movie when he's demonstrating the Jericho missiles and they assault the caravan, instead of him being captured by and kept in that area of the mountains, he's taken to Latveria.
Oh, okay. Like a torture angle or something,
Yeah,
or like where he like gets that Stockholm syndrome and
yeah,
starts being like his captors.
he's taken to Latveria, and then they break him mentally, and then they bring him back, and he's he takes over Latveria.
Okay. All right. I was thinking something similar. I was thinking like he could be like a variant of Tony's that instead of like having that moment where he got taken, he
Yeah,
gets disfigured. So that's where the mask comes in. But then
right.
like, they do like the half face reveals. I love those. Those are always cool. Like remember like
Mm-hmm.
when like Darth Vader got cut open, you can kind of see like,
Yeah,
this part like, oh damn, there's Anakin in it. That doing that with Doom in a fight. So that way like, oh damn, that's Tony in there.
yeah,
A crazy Tony variant that lost like Pepper Pot or something and was disfigured in the accident. Yeah, no, I'd like to see him as Doom.
yeah. Definitely, that'd be interesting. I'm wondering. Let's see who's right. We'll have to research. We'll have to circle back to this episode once that comes out. I'm
Some
looking
more block
forward to it.
splitting.
All right, back technical difficulties, but we're all good. We're all good. So speaking of Marvel,
Mhm.
um, I want to do something fun. Maybe fun,
Okay.
or maybe not be fun, depending on how we feel and where things are, um, and how we feel about these movies. Because speaking of the Avengers, I would like for us to rank the current Avengers movies.
Ooh. Okay. So current Avengers movies. That's the original Avengers, Age of Ultron,
Uh huh.
then what? Like
Then
Infinity War,
Infinity
Endgame.
War, Endgame.
Hmm. That's tough. It's funny because I always think of Civil War as an Avengers movie, but it's not. But
No, it's not. It's. I mean,
all right.
it. It should have been. If we're being honest, it should have been an Avengers
Hmm.
movie. I don't think that. I think that should have had more, just everything to it.
Okay.
One, more Avengers. Um,
Thor killing what's his name, Goliath, like in the
yeah,
comics.
you know, because Civil War in the comics was a much bigger deal than just a 5-on-5 pickup game at an airport.
Five on five is crazy.
Like that's what it was. It was I think in the comics it was bigger than that. So like to
Mm.
see it downplayed, I think that was one of my favorite jokes in Deadpool when he was like when he went to the X Mansion and when Colossus opens the door and he's like, "It's funny, I only see you two." It's almost like the company couldn't afford another X-Men. It's almost like Marvel, you couldn't afford another like superhero. They didn't even have to make sense, right? They
Mhm.
didn't like you could have just threw somebody in there that you had no intention of, you know, actually using later on down the line. That might have bit them in the butt because fans would have been upset because it would have been like, "Where's that one superhero you used in that one movie?" But like, come on, 5-on-5 at the airport, like we
Yo, I liked it though. I think honestly it's one of those things where I think it would have been better if it had more, but would it have been a better story? That's the question I have. How would it like I think the hero registration is always cool, but how would it have been a like a more succinct story? Because I think what they did there was pretty good. But if it's on the list, then it's gonna be up there high, in my opinion.
well no, we said I said Avengers, so we just gonna stick to the Avengers movies.
Let's do
Um,
it.
so I'ma lay it out.
It's your favorite. Go ahead. I know it.
Um, First I'm gonna start with last place to first place.
Okay.
Last place to first place. Four movies. So in last place for me is Endgame.
Okay.
Third place I got Infinity War.
Okay.
Second place I have the first Avengers movie, and in first place
Mhm.
I got Age of Ultron.
Okay. So I knew Age of Ultron was your favorite. So I already knew that was gonna be number one.
Yeah.
Was surprised by the first two being the worst two, but okay. I can rock. I can understand that. Let me hear your explanation why. That's what I want to know.
Because other than when it comes to just why Age of Ultron is just one of the greatest Marvel movies ever made, right? In my own personal opinion. Um, it had it was kind of like their first big it was where you could first see the chink in the armor that the Avengers wasn't just the solid team that everybody thought that they themselves thought they were, because the movie starts off with everybody like everybody's one big cohesive team. Everybody's doing, they're working in tandem. Everybody's, they got their thing going. But then here comes Ultron, and he's like, yeah, y'all think y'all got it, but no, you're not actually as cohesive as you think you are, right? And it
Okay.
was like it didn't take much just to spread them. Whoa, pause. Just to break that down.
Okay.
Just to break the team down, and I think it could be my Russo bias, my Russo brothers
Okay.
bias, because I think that was just something like incredible, like, and it still felt grounded, right? In that they were dealing with a big threat, both supernatural and still it felt grounded, where it was like not Scarlet Witch, where Black Widow and Hawkeye still served a purpose
Okay.
on the team. Because it's like, yeah, Hawkeye, he brought up a very valid point. I got a bow and arrow. Like in Infinity War and Endgame, why are y'all here? This is
Oh.
this is supernatural people with like supernatural abilities, and y'all don't really like the skill set isn't really, lining up the way it should for this kind of battle. The first Avengers is always going to be great because it was the culmination of like, it was the first team up.
Okay.
It was the very first movie, and like how everybody got together, how where everything just started to make sense, and like all of this minor world building that they were doing finally came to a head with the first one. So I think that's just because it was first, it's always going to hold a higher place to the other movies. The Infinity War, I thought that one was great in that, like, again, none of these movies are bad, right? But I think that it was just they tried to do, they had a lot to fill in Infinity War, and
Okay.
I thought that they did a good job, but there was a lot of things that just could have been a little tighter and like tweaked
Okay.
just a little bit more. And for me, with Endgame, other than the last battle at the very end, the rest of the movie is just kind of like filler. Like it's something that could have been like a Marvel series, in my personal opinion. Like the last movie, a lot of that could have been like a Marvel series that just led up to the big battle at the end, because it doesn't actually, for me, the movie was good itself, but from the moment Tony, Tony, Steve, and Thor start fighting Thanos, to the moment where when the portals start opening and everybody comes through, that was where that movie just took off. And I'm just like, the rest of the movie, after watching it the first time, I was in awe the whole time. But Going back and watching it, that movie shouldn't have been 3.5 hours.
There was a lot of filler in that movie.
Yeah, it was a lot of filler in that movie. I'm like, that movie didn't need to be 3.5 hours just to get to what we was actually here to see.
Okay. All right. So I think that's a solid list. I think solid list, solid explanation. 10 out of 10. You always show up real well. Now, what I'm gonna do
Okay.
is I'm gonna Max Kellerman it, and I'm gonna hit you with a different viewpoint. There's some movies which I agree to you closely, but not as close as you'd like. So I'm gonna start the opposite way. I'm gonna tell you what I thought what the best one was.
Okay.
In my opinion, I thought Infinity War was the best one. And I say that to say this because Infinity War to me
Mm-hmm.
was one. First of all, I'm very big on action. I love a good action scene, but to me, Infinity War is a great movie standalone. This is part of why where Endgame falls, you'll see where Endgame falls. But Infinity War was a beautiful game, a beautiful movie, and standalone.
Okay.
If you look at how it started, how you felt, there's certain moments that you're just like, whoa. And then like on top of that, experiencing that, because I went to it when it first released. I went like opening day. Opening day of these movies, it hits different. So some of that does also play a part. When Thanos showed up finally, they've been hinting at Thanos for a long time, but Thanos showed up. Regardless of whether you knew what went on in other Marvel movies or not, he showed up, and the first thing he did is he bodied the Hulk. Okay, he bodied the
Yeah, that
Hulk.
was
Like we've seen,
disrespectful.
like Hulk is like that big dude in your crew that nobody can take. You see him get mopped in the first like 5 minutes of the movie. I stood in awe, in awe.
Agreed, and I'm a Hulk
I
fan.
I've never seen the Hulk get dismantled so much, and it was one of those things where it's bad because Ebony Maw was like, "Let him have his fun." When Homeboy was about to jump in,
Yeah.
and then I was like, all right. So and not only that, it pacified Hulk through the whole movie. I know there's other reason and rationale as to why he didn't want to come out. Listen, I know it, you know it. We know what it feels like. Somebody got beat up and
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm not coming out. I don't want no parts of that. I don't want no parts. We've all seen that. We've seen that happen to somebody before. Somebody get beat up and you didn't want no parts.
That's
So
true.
that's one. Two, they was on bumper the entire show. Thanos was giving Thanos quotes. All that for a drop of blood. And then the emotional moments that you had in there were extremely emotional. Like when Star Lord had Gamora in front of him, and she's like, "You promised that." There's so much emotion that was invoked there. So I think the emotion was invoked. There was tons of action, so many memorable moments, great fight scenes. The when they were in Wakanda, everything looked so vivid. And on top of it, Infinity War has so many different funny moments. Remember when Okoye was talking about Scarlet Witch? What was she up there?
Yeah.
Hilarious moment. So
Yeah.
I definitely think Infinity War is a good standalone movie. One, but even added everything else, it makes it even better. But on top of that, it has so much action, so many iconic moments. Stormbreaker was created. Like it was beautiful, and the bad guy won at the end of the movie when Thanos snaps. I remember the deafening sound of that theater. I remember what it felt like to experience that. Sometimes for me that plays a part in the movie is was the experience of seeing it. Because there's certain things like if you watched Infinity War at home on DVD or 4K, it's great. It's still good.
Yeah.
But being in the theater also adds another element. My second one, I'm gonna agree with you and talk about Age of Ultron, but I'll mention things you didn't mention. It was the first correct appearance of the Hulkbuster, which was masterful.
Absolutely.
Absolutely masterful. I think the way they did Hulkbuster, Veronica or however they call it, was great. That whole fight scene was fantastic. I liked that they had moments of this felt like okay, this is a world-ending threat. They lifted an entire city
Yeah.
and was going to drop it on someone. So the gravitas of the villain was definitely up there. Introducing a new character with Vision in the middle of the movie and having it hit the emotion that was displayed when Quicksilver was killed. Tons of ways in which they really attacked like the mental psyche of the entire team. You have that team that you said had all this togetherness in the beginning, and then it was being unraveled
Yeah.
by these enhanced beings. Nah, that there's so much about that. I watched it recently because I didn't believe it until you actually mentioned to me. I went and I rewatched it and I was like, wow, this really is masterful television. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, theater rather.
Yeah.
But it was really good. So I really did like Age of Ultron. Now, third, I'm gonna put Endgame.
Okay.
So Endgame to me, the reason why I say is third is because Endgame I thought was a decent movie, but it's not one of those things that can stand alone, and that's why I lose his points. It would have been higher when I first seen it. I would have said, "Oh yeah, Endgame's number two after Infinity War," but after some consideration, I was like, "Nah, Endgame's number three." But the callbacks in that movie was amazing. You have Black Panther in Civil War was fighting against Hawkeye. Oh, what? Hi, I'm Clint. You must be new. I don't care. And then the
Mm-hmm.
first time he sees him, it's just, hey, Clint, I'll help you with the thing. Or like Ant-Man saying, oh, we call him Cap. And then, we have what's her name? Not Bumblebee. I always forget her name. Good Lord. Wasp.
Wow.
Yeah, Wasp is like, oh, Cap, I got it. We got it, Cap. Like so many small callbacks. If you go back and you watch all of Marvel's like MCU, the entire Infinity Saga, you'll find stuff in that happens in Endgame that you're like, oh my God, this is connected to something from before, which adds to it. But on top of that, too, that ending battle was amazing. I think the concept of time to me kind of got a little screwy, but I did like the fact that they were able to have a great ending to Endgame.
Yeah.
So I think that helps a lot. The first Avengers is last for me because ironically I was okay with it. I always thought it was just okay. It was cool because it was another one of those things where it's like, okay, well, they have all the setup, they have all the setup, they have all the setup for the Avengers movie, and then it happens, and it's like, okay, Loki's the main villain, but he was very underwhelming to me. Like Loki, it didn't feel like Loki was the main villain. It felt like the Chitauri were bigger than he did. Like the Chitauri did more damage than Loki ever did. And he just called them.
Yeah.
Cool. Like it never, like Loki never felt like all encompassing. It felt like New York was gonna have a bad day. Didn't feel like the world was gonna have a bad day. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
It-
That's fair.
so, so it's like, and then on top of that too, I think that them coming together because Coulson died, and then Coulson wasn't really dead, but he was dead. It's that you almost kind of like some of the stuff that happens afterwards kind of cheapens it to me.
I would agree with you.
But it's still a great movie. I still think I agree with you 100%. I still think all movies are great, but I think there's parts of it that could have been legendary, and I just think Infinity War has just the most iconic moments, the most that I think it has some of the best acting overall that's there because you felt when Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow went over that edge. You felt when Thanos sat down, like, damn, this man really did it. Like he
Yeah.
just sat down in the chair and the screen went back. Like, damn, he really just did that. You know, when they were fighting in Wakanda, tooth and nail, like you were on the edge of your seat, like, can they do it? Can they do it? Can they do it? They're gonna do it. And then when it ended and that they snapped, your favorite heroes are gone. It was a worldwide phenomenon. People everywhere was like, impact is a lot to me, man. It really does. The way you tell a story when you have that type of impact, that's how you know it's great.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Not so much in the order, but I do see where you're coming from. I definitely would have to agree with you. I think I just got to go. I just watched them recently. Again, just watched Age of Ultron, honestly, twice over the weekend because it was just, they've been, for whatever reason, it's been on like a loop on like stars. So I've just been like, all right, every time it's on, let's just, all right, you running it back? Cool, we gonna run it back together and we just gonna watch these again. Um, But yeah, no, I'll have to agree with you. Like I said, none of these are bad movies. That's not what I was saying. I was just ranking them. I just wanted to rank them just for fun, just to see what we would have, just to see how close our lists would be, if close at all, and they were not close at all.
Nope.
They were not close at all. But yeah, and since we're talking about Endgame, I will always and forever have to shout out the white lady who was sitting next to me in the movie theaters, who held my hand as I cried when Tony Stark died. She is a legend. I don't know her name. We did not speak after the movie was over. She got up and left. And I was grateful that she, was able to help me through that difficult moment to
Your
watch.
Marvel Angel.
Yeah, to watch one of our favorites go. And I'm hyped for Marvel, man. Daredevil it's an incredible show. We've got 2 episodes today. Definitely gonna get to some of that. Recently. Um, the Ironheart series is on the way too. Kind of excited for that. Um,
Love to see black people winning.
Absolutely. I'm rooting for that show simply because of the fact that Sis is black. Like, regardless of how I actually may feel about the show.
I'm 50-50. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
kind of like,
like
yeah, I'd like to see it though.
I,
I'm not going down the sister though. I'd like to
no, no,
see it.
no, no. Like I mean, like personally, it's cool, but because Sis is black, I'm rooting for her, and I need this show to get I need this show to do numbers, like numbers, because I mean, what else we really got going?
I mean, they took our Black Panther and then they gave us another Black Panther, and then now, shout out to Haitian heritage. The new Black Panther is supposed to be from Haiti. You feel me?
Yeah,
I'd love to see a lot of. Anytime I see someone who looks like us, man, on TV, I'm always with that. So I'd love to support it. I'd love to see it. I think we got some other stuff coming. Not from Marvels per se, but we got some stuff coming.
yeah, because I think it's what the world needs right now. It's just
And
more of us on on television.
hey, I want to see. I definitely want to see Ironheart. I want to see Lanterns.
Yes,
I want to see what that does because we love some John Stewart over here. Shout out to
ha-
Justice League, man. That we stuff we grew up on.
absolutely. I actually just watched
Um,
his animated movie the other day,
okay.
and I hadn't seen it before, but I was just like, bro, let me just go back and watch these, and that was fire too. And I just watched
Well, I need that recommendation.
yeah, I got you. I can't think of the name at the moment, but I'm gonna send it to you. It's really
Mhm.
dope, and I love how all of those movies tie in together because I just watched. I started Crisis on Infinite Earths,
Okay.
but I had to stop because there are other movies you need to watch before you watch Crisis on Infinite Earths. But you don't know that you need to watch these movies until you actually start watching Crisis on Infinite Earths.
DC animated is honestly,
Oh,
I don't know why James Gunn or whoever's in charge of DC doesn't just be like, you see what they doing over there in in the animated stuff?
yeah,
Do that. Do that on screen.
right.
Because if you do that on screen, it's a cash making machine. Like Justice League's been great. Young Justice has been great.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every DC animated movie, the Batman versus Robin, the Teen Titans movie versus the Justice League.
Yeah.
So many good movies.
So many good movies,
So
and I'm
many.
just like, bro, if y'all could just, like you said, whatever they doing over here, just transfer that over here, and like there is absolutely no reason why Marvel should have this big a lead over you in terms of like box office. I've always said it, like the fact that we got the Justice League movie when we got the Justice League movie was a travesty. Because fam, I understand you was trying to get that movie out so you could compete with the Avengers. Y'all wasn't ready. It is very clear they was
Listen,
not ready to drop that movie
100%.
when it dropped.
When they had gold, like you remember when the first Superman movie came out?
Yes,
That movie was perfect, bro. It was such a great version of Superman.
absolutely.
Don't tell your stories and then lump them together. Don't rush.
Don't
Don't play catch
rush.
up.
Don't play. And I'm like, bro, y'all shouldn't have done that because that that flopped that made that whole thing just fall apart.
It's just it's money, bro. Everybody's trying to chase the money. They're like, oh, the
Yeah.
world is on a superhero kick. Let's kick a superhero group. We could do it too. No, listen, tell your story, get to your parts, and then add everybody together. Even the Snyder cut. Now the Snyder cut was good. Now
No, the Snyder Cut was great. The Snyder
it
Cut was
was
great.
long, but
It was
it
long.
was good though.
Yeah, the Snyder Cut was definitely, and I keep saying I want to go back and watch the Justice is Black version, but
Mm.
it's Full House.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
That's a lot of
If you're gonna do it, TV show format, TV
yeah.
show format, my G.
Like, 'cause I'm like, bro, that's and you can do that. I do and appreciate the fact that he broke it up into chapters, so you can decide, like, you know what, we about to start a new chapter. Nah, I'm gonna stop right here,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna pick this
That's
back
when
up
you hit
later.
pause and
Pause.
come right around.
Yeah,
Some more block circling here.
yeah,
Some more block circling.
yeah. But yeah, man, I'm just excited for all the things that are coming. I think James Gunn is gonna do great with all of the DC stuff he got coming down the pike. That Superman movie looks good.
I'm interested in that too.
I'm
100%.
intrigued to see what he's gonna do. John Cena as Peacemaker was one of the greatest decisions I think they ever made. The only issue I had with that show was I watched the intro for the first time and said I never need to see that again.
What we intros used to be iconic, man. What happened to intros?
I don't know, and apparently I was alone with that because a lot of people loved that whole him dancing, like the song choice and the dance at the beginning of that intro. I usually don't. If an intro is good, I'm never like I binge because I didn't watch Game of Thrones at the beginning, right? I was like 4 seasons behind when I started watching Game of Thrones. And catching up on that 4 seasons, never once did I skip the intro.
Oh, because it's a banger.
Like never once
It's a
did I
banger.
skip the intro. And I'm like, no, this like well, one, Game of Thrones was different for multiple reasons. One, each intro was different because it let you know where the locations in the episode.
Really? I
Yeah.
seen the I noticed something like that. I didn't know that they actually went to that specific location each intro.
Yeah. And each intro, wherever the locations they brought you up, like brought up, that's where they were going to at some point in the episode. So
I might have to go watch that.
so that
I might have to run that back.
yeah, that was something that was different. So, but if the intro was good, you got me.
Shout out to the anime openings. Anime openings used to be legendary too.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Fire Force, come back in a couple weeks. I'm excited about that, man.
Hey man,
So
I'm just waiting for one thing and one thing only. My Hero Academia, my brother.
yeah, I hope they don't Attack on Titan us and be like last season part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5.
Part 50.
Yeah,
Or if they do the what's the Demon Slayer and say, hey, we gonna give you a movie.
right.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
movie, yeah.
yeah, y'all like no, no, no. If you last season, let's get to it.
Give me the whole thing.
Let's
Like you
get
don't
to it.
like like Batista said in the WWE, give me what I want.
Right.
Give
Give
me
me
what
what
I
I
want.
want. That's it. Like, please, let it be it.
Nah, man. And the fact that Attack on Titan is a verbiage now, and I know exactly what you meant, is crazy. Because it's like when video games started doing virtual currency. It's just like y'all ruining the game, bro. Like y'all ruining the TV show. Like you wait 50 years, now I got to watch 4 different recaps. I can't even
Yeah,
watch the recap because I don't even remember who's who no more.
right. Like, I'm like, bro, when because it was funny when I was like, when we got the first, and they were like, this is the last season, and then I'm sitting there and I watched the season finale, and I was like, this can't possibly be how this show. I think it was when Eren, this was right before, this is when like Eren and everybody and Mikasa and all of them went undercover, and they were just walking through the town as like normal people, And I was like, this episode is cool and all, but this is supposed to be the very last episode of this show. So where is what I'm here to see? Like, did Aaron win? Is Aaron going to lose? Like, what's going to happen? And when the credits started rolling, I was like, this can't be it. But then I Googled it and I was like, no, we getting another like, this was just part one? I'm sorry. Then why didn't we say last season part one?
They had so the last season, I think took 2 to 3, maybe 2 years, 2 3 years maybe to get the entire last season off. They hit us with last season part one, and I remember they came back, and I'm like, oh, they back. We gonna get like 5 6 episodes. No, only two,
Only two.
just two, just two.
That's it.
And then you got to wait another like year to get the last part of it. And it's like, bro, how long are you expecting someone to sit in anticipation of the climax? Like we have like the way that theater is supposed to go is you have the conflict, you have your rise in action, you have your peak, and then you have your come down. We can't sit in rising action the entire like 3 years. Like at some point, like you, that's not good for your mental. It's like,
Not at all.
how am I supposed to deal with that?
Yeah, like what? I don't know, man. But we got there, especially because I was sitting there, like I got so tired of waiting that I went and read. Like, let me know. Like, I went and read the ending just so I could be like, how did we get here?
You cheated, is what you say.
Yeah, I cheated. I cheated. I definitely cheated because I got impatient. I got impatient.
I understand, man.
I was tired of waiting. So hopefully I don't have to get impatient again with My Hero Academia when they come back. And hopefully we really could, they really just give us everything and, let us get that. Let us get the good ending.
I'm 100% with you on that one. Honestly, like I waited for a couple things. I have enough patience to be rewarded for my patience, man. I'm telling you, I waited for Bleach 10 years. I was reading the manga and
Hmm.
I put the manga down mid chapter. Was like, nope, can't read no more. I gotta wait for them to animate this. And my brother's like, oh, they said they're not gonna animate it. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is too good. They have to animate this.
Hmm.
And I've been rewarded. And I'm telling you, the Thousand Year Blood arc has been some of the best anime I've seen in a long time, brother. Amazing work.
Anime is some of the best television out there. Period. If we being honest about it, I think more people need to hop on. Get on that bandwagon. It took me a while, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm playing catch up.
We got to start converting people and being cool and accept people who don't know everything.
Yeah. So
Nerd culture be like that sometimes.
yeah, yeah. But this was awesome. This was great. This was awesome, Evans. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for doing this. I'm going to have you back because one, we got to see who was right. We got to see who was right and how they do Doctor Doom and Avengers. So definitely planning to have you back for more conversations. So thank you, my brother, for joining with me.
I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And until the next one, we're out. Later, y'all.